12 more videos. We're on day 78, and it's windy in Butte today. We had 11 bills on the House floor, 2 with Senate amendments, 2 joint resolutions, and 7 Senate bills. And we passed House Joint Resolution 22, which is an interim study of student, faculty, research, and scholarship in the Montana University system. Senate Bill 96 was a bill to lower business and equipment tax, and the problem with that is that we've already done this with another bill, and this one just tacks more onto that other bill. And I voted for the first business and equipment tax reduction. I think that it is important to help business out. We need to do this for them, but this was too much. Senate Bill 143 is a bison extermination bill, basically. And today our chair of the day was Representative Edmonds, and every person, or each day a different person takes turn being chair of the day. And there's a computer screen that you'll look over at to see if anyone has pushed their button to speak on a bill, and you follow a script. So I did it earlier in the session, and you say, would the sponsor like to open on the bill? And the sponsor has up to 5 minutes to talk. You look at the computer screen, and you have these bright names of people who have their buttons pushed. And so today, the sponsor of this bison extermination bill opened, and Representative Edmonds said, seeing no discussion, would the sponsor like to close? And people were immediately like, oh, hey, I was punched in. And I could see that the buttons were pushed. I don't know what happened, but I could from my seat see buttons that were illuminated blue. They had pressed them to speak on the bill. And he said, you weren't punched in. Would the sponsor like to close? And continued. And so we stood in protest. We did not pound on our desks. I was wondering how far this little standoff was going to go. And so the sponsor of the bill did his 5-minute close, and he went to ask for votes. And he looked up and said, oh, wait, is there a minute here? Is there a problem here? Because 39 of us were standing in protest that none of us had been allowed to speak on this bison extermination bill, which we all feel strongly about. And the Speaker of the House walked up and had a little conversation. And when he returned to his seat, Representative Edmonds said, on further consideration, we will allow discussion, even though you were not punched in, and you need to punch in earlier if you want to speak on these bills. So it was a good thing, because after that moment, several people, like maybe 10, I would guess, people spoke on this bison bill for and against it. We had a robust conversation. It was just interesting. The bill opens up year-round hunting for bison. And Representative Fiscus today on the floor said that we should vote for this bill because our country takes better care of its wildlife than other countries, foreign countries, take of its people. And another really funny thing about the bill is this fiscal note rebuttal. So they ask you, the bill had a cost to it, and they ask you, why do you agree with the fiscal note? Because it is not correct. And what do you feel is flawed? It is their assumption that they make because they do not like the bill. This is what I'm talking about of politicians having a staff that is hired by us and for us to do the legal work that we need and give consultation. And when they get an answer that they don't like, they say they just don't like this bill. So moving on to Senate Bill 369, would allow people who lease cabins from the state to open up to go into a program where there would be a public auction, and whatever the highest bidder was, the current lessee would have the option to match the highest bid and buy the property. There was an amendment brought forward on the floor today to say, okay, that's fine, but if the lessee owed back lease payments to the state, then those should be paid first. And the amendment went down, and I thought it was really weird because to me that felt like a statement of supporting that it's okay to not pay your bills. And I don't think anyone on the floor would say that they support any time when someone doesn't pay their bills. And I wondered if in this case the landlord was a private citizen instead of the government, if they would have felt differently about it. I wasn't clear on why they didn't like this amendment. So Senate Bill 387 was a win for the day. Democrats and Republicans united together to defeat this bill. This bill said that it was to fix the Commissioner of Political Practices process of investigating complaints. In the way that I read the bill, and you should go and look at it, is that it makes a highly politicized process of investigating campaign finance complaints. But really, the bill was not about the Office of Political Practices or the commissioner. The bill was about campaign finance. It had lengthy sections that said from now on in the state of Montana, it is okay for corporations to give unlimited amounts of money to political party committees. So like in Butte, we have the Butte Silverbow Democrats, and we are not allowed to take checks from any business. If Joe the plumber has LLC after his name on his checks, we can't take it. And this bill would say that political parties like the Butte Silverbow Democrats could take as much corporate money as they wanted to, as long as we set it aside in a separate account and we don't give it directly to candidates and we use it for independent expenditures. So the Butte Silverbow Democrats could take millions of dollars from corporations as long as we had a separate account, and with that money we could influence elections however we want to, as long as we are doing it on our own and not just giving it directly to the candidates. I was so shocked, and I was so proud of us for working together and to see that really what I consider to be our Montana values regarding campaign finance were upheld and uplifted and protected today on the Montana floor. So thank you, Republican friends, for working together on that. We had a motion to reconsider House Bill 277, which is the term limit bill. This is interesting. We've seen several motions on this. No one really wants to see it die, I don't think. So there was a motion made to put it on third reading on Monday, and it passed. It needs 66 votes. It needs 2/3 of the... I apologize. It needs 70 votes, I think, to pass. And so it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. I'm so happy to be back in Butte, and I think that sleeping in my own bed last night cured my cold. I feel better today. Thanks for all the well wishes.